For the last part of our Wayne Thiebaud ice cream cones, we are going to be adding the background and the surface that our cones are sitting on. So for this part, I'm going to choose two colors. One is going to be the background color, one is going to be for the surface, or let's say they are sitting on a table. This would be my table color. Now I want to make sure that I'm choosing two colors that I have not used before. So I have not made any yellow or green ice cream scoops. I haven't used them for my cones. I have not used them at all yet in my drawing. So I'm gonna go with these two colors for my background and my table. You're also going to need a black for your shadow. And the first thing we are going to start with is going to be the table part of our background. So for my table, I'm going to go ahead and use my green, and I'm gonna start by creating a horizontal line that goes the whole way across, but it's gonna go behind my cones, and I want it to be just below the rectangular part of our cones. So I'm gonna start here, and I'm gonna jump over my cone, continue my line the whole way across my table, or across my paper, so that I have the line of where my table is going to be and where my background will meet it. From here, I'm going to color in this area where my table is. Okay, once I have the table colored in, or the surface that my ice cream cones are sitting on, I want to go ahead and use my black to add the shadow, just like we have been adding throughout our project. We added our shadows up here in our ice cream scoops. We added them down here in our cones. So our light source has been coming from this side of our composition, which means we would cast the shadow on this side of each of our cones. So for this shadow, I'm going to start right here where the table kind of meets the cone. I'm going to shade small side-to-side lines. And as I get closer to the bottom of my cone, my lines are going to get a little bit wider. Almost like a triangular shape of black shading. Be careful that you do not get any black on your cone. You want to make sure the shape of your cone stays defined. I'm going to do this for all three of my cones. Okay, now that I have the shadows shaded next to my cone, I have to go in and blend my shadows with the color of my table. So I used green for my table. I'm gonna go back in with my green, and I'm gonna blend that black in just like we did up here in our ice cream scoops. Again, try not to get the color into your cone. We wanna keep those shapes nice and defined. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend all three of those shadows going side to side, the same way that I shaded the black. Okay, so I have my shadows blended, my table is complete. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color the entire background around each ice cream cone with my background color. When I do this, I'm going to use my background color to clean up any lines of my drawing that might be a little bit sloppy or might have gone outside of the lines. So by outlining my cones first, I can define all of the outlines of my shapes. And then I can go in and color the area around each of those cones to complete the background. Once you are finished, if there are any peekaboos or any areas that you want to touch up, make sure you go back and do that. You want all of your colors to be nice and neat and solid.